How's it going?
Good. Parker,
Ben,
this is Developer Meets Designer, episode 1.
welcome.
Welcome. So let's just start with some backgrounds, and so we can kind of figure out who I am and who you are.
Sounds good. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I was a computer science undergrad at Auburn University back in 2006. Spent a lot of time doing Air Force military applications for a long time, so these crazy high-end enterprise applications for lots of people that need to always be on. Went back to grad school to do a master's in computer science now, and I'm finishing up in May, so at Colorado, University of Colorado in Boulder. So
Nice.
Love the lifestyle out here in Colorado. Come on out. It's if you like mountains, if you like snow, if you like anything outdoors,
Yeah,
it's
it is fun.
fantastic. How about you, Ben?
So I went to school multiple places, but I finished at Robert Morris University for graphic design. I minored in photography, and shortly after graduating moved out here to right in between Denver and Boulder, and have been working ever since.
Nice.
A little shorter.
That's cool. No, it's
grad
cool.
school yet.
Yeah, you know what? With your talent, you probably don't need it. So
Yeah, we'll see.
Some of
We'll
us need
see.
it. What kind of jobs have you done so far then?
So far, I worked at a small mom and pop shop while I was in school, a little outdoor shop for doing their design, their web presence and their email advertising, some marketing and that kind of stuff. Then right after school, I got a job with Crocs, the shoe company, doing their web design, which
Nice.
it was a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Everybody needs shoes, right?
Everyone needs shoes, and everyone loves Crocs or hates Crocs.
That's true. That's
Either way, people own them, so it was really fun. Lots of fun colors to work with. And then I left Crocs in May of this past year and spent some time looking, and recently started contracting for Map My Fitness,
Oh, nice.
based in Denver.
You run?
I design things so other people can run.
That'll work. I
You
run.
run, right?
I run.
Yeah.
So I've used their product. That's good.
Yeah, they do app development for the most part. I do all their web presence, so their sales pitches and for site takeovers, basically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't throw in there. I've done a little bit of Ruby on Rails development too. And,
Oh, right.
And then I've done some a little bit of iOS stuff, but nothing published. And then I have a couple of Android apps out there. So
Yeah, we'll fight about iOS versus Android later.
another episode, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what does design mean to you? Like, for me, I'll tell you what it means to me as a
Yeah.
outsider.
Yeah.
For me, it's like usability meets aesthetics. To me, like that's like, and I don't know if that's only a certain, like there's so many different types of design. You say graphic design, you know, there's,
Right.
and within that there's, you know, for pictures, photography versus
Yeah.
mobile, designing this couch, which
Right.
is super staticky, you know, who designed
Yeah.
this suede to be on here or whatever.
Yeah.
So like there's so many types of design. So what is it, what is it for you?
No, it's a great question. For me, in the realm of web and print, at least, we'll stay in those
Okay, cool.
those realms. It's an expression of defining a space. Most of the time, for me, it's a 2D space.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And I think you hit it on the head with the user experience meets good aesthetics, good looking, especially on the web, because you have to know where to put like a CTA or like...
What's a CTA?
Oh, good question. It's the button basically for layman's terms.
Okay.
On the web. You never say button, you call it a CTA.
Oh, I'd always call it a button. Where does the button go?
Yeah, CTA stands for call to action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so you're trying to get someone to go to somewhere else.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's an
Sign
action.
up for this, refer this.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yep. So you have to know where to put those things. You can't just have a random idea and try it, because it will probably fail. You have to do research and figure out where to put the header, why to put it there, all that different stuff. But at the same time, and you know this with app design and that kind of stuff, you have to make it look good, or else people won't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's design to me.
Nice.
Yeah. A bigger question is, what do you do?
What?
Like it's easy for me. I do design, and you know, that kind of encompasses my profession. But what do you do?
Well, you say you do design, but then my head goes to, you know, like Illustrator and Photoshop and a million things.
True.
So
yep.
It's probably equally a big question for me. What do you do? But I'll answer your question first. I code. That's probably the biggest part of it is sitting down. I like to, if I'm working with somebody like a designer, taking either their Photoshop, or if they've already done some marked up HTML or whatever, and writing the back end for it to make that functionality happen. So when they click that call to action, then, you know, the server will hit off and do whatever it needs to do for that particular action.
Okay, yep. So all the behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes stuff, which is, it can be extremely exciting, and sometimes it can be the exact opposite. It can be super dull. So depending on the application you're working on, for example, my own Android apps and stuff, I really enjoy making those work and tweaking things here and there and working out the best algorithms, versus some of the stuff I did in the former military was extremely boring, but it had to be extremely robust.
Yep.
So, you know, there's that balance there of finding something that you really, really enjoy working on, that's also challenging. So, but code is probably the biggest thing I do, translating designs into something that can be used beyond the aesthetics and beyond that. Big part of it is learning. I'm always learning.
Yeah.
It's
I heard you're addicted to learning, actually.
Yeah, we can talk about that in another episode. We'll have a book list episode or something. Yeah, it's a really, really fast moving field. You know, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was all, you know, big COBOL things, and the internet wasn't huge yet, and then it exploded on the scene, and then Sun came out with Java, and everybody thought Java was the big thing, and you know, last 6 or 7 years it's been Ruby on Rails and Django, and there's always something new to learn. In the last 5 years, 4 years, iOS came out, and then the App Store came out, and then Android came out, and so all these things are just exploding on scene, and so there's always something new to learn. So a big part of what I do is just trying to play catch up every day. That's all I'm doing, is working on what I'm already working on, and then trying to learn the next thing so I don't fall behind. And I think that's actually one of the reasons I really like the field. It's because I don't feel like I'll ever master it completely. I think there's always going to be something new for me to learn and really understand.
I feel like both of our fields are a lot like that. We always have to be going to school in a sense, or like schooling ourselves in our field, which is really fun. And we always get to get new equipment. Yeah,
getting new equipment is fantastic. Are you getting any new equipment soon?
I'm looking at computers again.
Okay.
Mine is better part of 5 years old, and so it's definitely lagging a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I have a 2-year-old MacBook Pro, and I'm looking at another MacBook Air or a Lenovo ThinkPad. So we're gonna.
Yeah, we'll have to sit down and chat about computers soon.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Yeah. And then we could talk about education too at another time.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely some pros and cons to undergrad and grad school, especially with today's environment. I mean, Khan Academy and all these other Treehouse, Code Academy and all these things. I don't know if are there any things like that for design?
There's blogs. There's a few really good resources that we can send you guys some links to. PSD Tuts. There's like
DMeetsD?
Yeah, there's
Like
there's
Photoshop?
this whole world. Yeah,
Okay.
so there's PSD, HTML. There's a bunch of learning experiences on this platform. I can't think of the actual, like, the mother. Tutsplus.com.
Tuts Plus.
Yeah, it's a
Nice.
huge resource for photos, like everything creative,
Oh, cool.
even some coding.
Oh, nice. I'll have to check that one out. I've done like Code Academy and a few of those other ones.
Yeah.
But I haven't done.
Yeah, it's
Tuts
a little
Plus.
less boring than Code Academy. I'm actually going through Code Academy right now, so I can't say anything bad about it. They're actually really good, but
Yeah.
it's more colorful than
Okay.
Code Academy.
Well, if it was it was for designers first, so maybe
Exactly.
they had that mindset when they started applying
Yeah,
to code.
they knew their audience.
Yeah. Speaking of, do you segment resource of the week? What is it? Okay, is that your resource of the week then?
Yeah, let's call that the resource of the week for me.
Yeah,
I was
cool.
gonna go with something else, but we'll wait for that.
Yeah. Mine is a list apart. So it's are you familiar?
I've glanced over a shoulder at it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth reading. It's really interesting because they get into coding aspects as well as content, culture, user experience, and design.
Oh, nice.
And so they only do 2 articles a month, and so it's not overwhelming in your reader, and you can just check it out when you get around to it once a month. And really philosophical, and a lot of the articles are not necessarily applied, but more of just ways to think about these kinds of things, like code and design. And so I really like that.
Yeah.
It's good to have the hardcore hands-on tutorials,
Mm-hmm.
PSD Tuts, Tuts Plus, and then also these overarching, just how do you think about this stuff going into it. So
Yeah. No, it sounds like a great resource. I'll check it out.
definitely. So you had earlier mentioned that you were currently contracting, and previously you had a job. I know in my past I've done both contracting and having a job too, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it as a designer.
No, that's a great question. I think it's kind of multifaceted answer because there's some aspects of working at a company, in the office, building relationships, having that community of, especially of other designers to bounce things off of. It's part of the reason why I am the designer I am today is because I got that chance to sit there and critique each other, and if one of us was a better illustrator than the other, then we could jump over there and be like, hey, how do you do this? You know, so there's that aspect that when you're contracting or freelancing even, you don't really get to do. But I've learned that you just kind of build a community with designers outside of your work, and try to meet with them on a regular basis and try to develop your skill sets and get feedback from them outside of sitting in an office next to them.
Yeah.
I think the other aspect of it is I love the contract/freelance because there's a freedom of working when you need to or like want to.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're sitting in an office, you're just always just like cranking away, and you almost feel bad if you're not working, if you take a break.
Yeah.
Whereas if I take a break, I'm not paying myself for it. So I want to get back to work when I need to work or want to work, you know. I feel like I'm a lot more creative outside of an office. I can go work at Starbucks and just kind of hear the bustle of people, you know, doing stuff around me.
It doesn't distract you?
No, because I have headphones.
Okay.
If I really need to
We'll
get
talk,
in the groove.
like I said, we'll talk about computers and hardware later. I'd like to know what kind of headphones you use.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's my take on it. I like contracting/freelancing. The only aspect that I don't like is the loneliness that comes along with it sometimes.
Yeah.
But you can always go to a coffee shop and meet someone new.
This is true. You could also pick up clients at coffee shops. So
It's true, yeah. Last week, 2 weeks ago now,